Hey, what's up everyone? JJ here and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to look at my favorite LEGO Harry Potter set, which is the 2020 Diagon Alley set. In this video, we're going to review each of these different buildings, and we're also going to compare it to the new Playscale sets that are being released, looking at the Weasleys, Wheezes, as well as Ollivanders. So let's jump right in now and take a look at Diagon Alley. Here we see LEGO Harry Potter Diagon Alley. This set was released in 2020. It is set 75978. It retailed for $399.99 in the US. However, with the price increase, the set is now $449.99. It is still available on the lego.com website. It is on back order. However, this is my favorite LEGO Harry Potter set, so if you're even considering it, you just need to buy this set. It is 5,544 pieces and is an amazing build for Diagon Alley. For the main trio, we get these three torso printings with this black jacket. Quite different than what we see when these students come with Hogwarts Castle sets, but it was really neat at the time when this was released. We also get a Daily Prophet photographer, Gilderoy Lockhart, and his torso prints are always neat, even all the way back to 2002 when LEGO Harry Potter first released this character. Lots of really cool detailing. And then, of course, Florian from the ice cream parlor. Of course, we see Fred and George Weasley, along with Molly and Ginny Weasley with this set. And we also see Draco, Lucius, and Ollivander. I will say the torso printing for Lucius, it looks brown in person. On the lego.com website, his torso looks to have more red with that fur piece there towards the collar. And we also get this awesome Hagrid and Harry Potter minifigure on this stand to display in front of your Diagon Alley. I will say these minifigures aren't particularly unique now just because they were released in 2020 and LEGO Harry Potter has really reused most of these prints. But we still see some really cool pieces like Lucius having the leg printing there with the torso printing. We also, of course, see Florian, although there's speculation, and at this point I think it's pretty confirmed that a Playscale version of the ice cream parlor is getting released this summer in 2025, so I'd expect to see him re-released. Other than that, we've seen all of these characters additional times with similar prints. Molly Weasley's torso print is another one that is also still exclusive to this set. Now, what is cool about this set is it comes with 4 instruction booklets. You have 1 instruction booklet for Ollivanders as well as Scribbulus. The next instruction booklet is for quality Quidditch supplies and the Daily Prophet. And then the ice cream parlor and Flourish and Blotts. And the last one is the Weasleys, Wheezes. So you can build these really in any order you want, or you can build with a friend or even a small group. So looking at this, we are now going to take a look at the one Diagon Alley shop that is not viewed in this camera angle, and that is going to be Ollivanders as well as Scribbulus. Let's take a look now. And here we see Ollivanders Wand Shop and Scribbulus Writing Supply Store. Really cool build next to each other, and I really like the use there of the kind of yellow windows for Ollivander's Wand Shop. Kind of shows some of the magic that's happening inside. Now for Ollivanders, of course, we see these 2 kind of rounded windows that come up, and that carries on through both the first and the second floor of the building, which again is quite nice. That where we don't just have like a 90-degree wall. I like the use of a lot of those masonry bricks here on the second floor, and that carries over for Scribbulus too, obviously changing color schemes. And then Scribbulus is also going to have kind of a little piece of the architecture that juts forward for the window, kind of just creating some angles and depth there, which is quite nice. Of course, for Ollivanders, we see 2 Ollivanders sticker pieces on each side of the window, as well as the makers of fine wands since 382. I will point out there's also this sticker piece here. If you notice, that's kind of the wand symbol. I actually put this on upside down originally and had to request an additional sticker sheet because it really I just could not handle it. It was so bad. And then there's lots of stickers too when we look over at Scribbulus. Of course, we see the sticker there for the title of the building. And then there's also going to be this sticker piece kind of showing the writing implements. And then we see some additional sticker pieces here. And then this is going to be the printed piece of that Daily Prophet paper. And I just wanted to look at these signs from this side angle because the light wasn't quite hitting them well, but we can see Galleon per reading, as well as Sphere of Flying Classes. We're also seeing 3 owls with this build, which I quite like because as you can see, they have kind of the detailing and embellishments there on the fur and face, and we're seeing them in different colors as well. And nothing too special here on the roof, but I do like that these buildings have a flat roof structure only because I like to display some of my duplicate or additional minifigures there, looking down on Diagon Alley. Looking inside, we see this is almost an even split between the two stores. Of course, more of the build is given to Ollivanders, but we do get a great build there for Scribbulus on the left. What's cool is there is this staircase that kind of opens up, giving you some more insight into the inside of Ollivanders' wand shop. Looking here at Ollivanders, we can see a ton of wand boxes here underneath the staircase, and then there's an open box there in front of the window next to that candle as well. And then here on the other side, we can see the entire wall of wand boxes in various colors, as well as kind of this wand box here on the cash register, which is going to be Harry's. And then we can see the display there as well in the front window, some of those open wands. Unfortunately, with this version of Ollivanders, we don't get those custom wand pieces, but we will look at those in the newer version that's been released recently. For the second floor of Ollivander, of course, we see that wand wall continue up for the second build. And then we have kind of a table here in the middle with a wand, as well as kind of additional wands in the window and a seating area for Ollivander, pretty much probably as he's organizing or working all of these wands. And of course, we can react the scene where the wand chooses the wizard and Harry's wand is selected, or I guess the wand selects Harry up from the wall. And there's also this interesting ladder piece, these two ladder pieces inverted, connected together, which can be placed in the building as well. Next up is the bill for Scribbulus writing supplies. As you can see, there's a lot of different kind of quills and pens here on the wall. And then here we can see the sticker. Yeah, the sticker piece there with some writing, as well as a lamp. Of course, it is here where Harry sees some color change ink, which puts him in a better mood after his negative encounter with Draco Malfoy. But I always think this set is interesting because, you know, the upstairs looks a little gloomy to me. Both the fireplace as well as that skeleton piece really makes me think of like the Death Eaters and Voldemort. And so it makes sense because Scribbulus is near the entrance to Nocturn Alley. So I'm not familiar if this is supposed to be particularly part of Scribbulus or if it's just kind of like a little apartment type area. And being next to Nocturn Alley may give it kind of this disheveled look. I do know that Scribbulus becomes overtaken by the Death Eaters towards kind of the later parts of the series. So that is my guess for why these pieces are included in the upstairs build of this building. Now, of course, looking at this remake of Ollivander's Wand Shop, of course, we can see it is much shorter and smaller for the Playscale version. However, they do a great job capturing some of those architectural angles and designs that we saw in the original build. This time, I knew not to put the sticker sheet upside down for the wand symbol there, so no issues for me with this build. And I actually think having Ollivanders on a single sticker instead of split up into Ollivand and then Enders creates a much nicer look here for the exterior. It wasn't as bad as the Gringotts Bank symbol, but the Ollivander symbol does have a bit of a gash in the middle on the 2020 version. And if you hadn't seen it before, here's what I mean with the 2020 version, how there's a bit of a space between the A and the N. Looking here at the side-by-side comparison, like I said, they did a really good job imitating some of those angles created with the original build. And I like that there's actually a third level here on the Playscale version as well. Looking here at the Playscale version, it is essentially just one big open room. We can see kind of all the wands there on each of the sides. And if you notice, those are individually sculpted pieces, which was a cool introduction for this set, how we just see these different wand shapes. So they're not just kind of like rods of the traditional wand piece that we see. And then we have this giant ladder that kind of can zoom across the build because we see on both sides there lots of wand boxes. And while, of course, the detail of the 2020 version is unmatched, I really like the idea of keeping this building just one large open building for multiple floors of the store. I wish they would have considered something like that here with the 2020 version, where instead of even having a second floor, we just had shelves and shelves that were able to hold some of these wands. So I think both look really good, but I do think the designers did a great job kind of imitating what Ollivanders should look like in a Playscale form here. Here we have the quality Quidditch supplies as well as the daily profit build. As you can see, this is a rather tall structure. A lot of that has to do with the second floor being so fleshed out. But I really like some of the build techniques they used. Again, I love the use of the cobblestone there. It's something that's really easy to reproduce if you want to extend or make the street larger. And I like the green and the red they chose there for the quality Quidditch supply front of the building. Of course, we have, this little golden snitch, and then of course the entrance to the daily profit. The bubblegum pink was a choice. It is what it is. And then of course up here on the roof, you can just see a bunch of kind of leftover newspapers. There are quite a few sticker pieces for this building. Of course, we see the quality Quidditch supplies. And then if we move over, of course, we see the sign there on the top for the Daily Profit. But we can also see this Daily Profit kind of door sticker as well, which just adds some additional detail here for the build. Now, we also see some hanging signs, one that says Quidditch with the Hogwarts house crest. And then we also see a sign here for the Daily Profit. And in terms of storage, I just put it here on the second floor. Looking up here at the roof, the Daily Prophet, the Boy Who Lived edition, is a printed piece. And these window panes that just show lots of Daily Prophets is also a printed piece. It's just upside down half the time. And looking here at the front of the building, I do want to point out kind of this angle that we see created for the front of the Quality Quidditch Supply Store. It kind of comes forward. I think that was a really cool build technique. And as we kind of see these windows kind of leaning in, it's kind of connected here at the top. So a really cool technique just to create some additional angles so it's not just a 90-degree wall structure. And even though most people are going to display this building side by side, there is a sticker, "Have you seen this wizard?" here on the side of the building, but only in one of the places. I do like that they've included that sticker. However, I wish they would do like an all or nothing kind of strategy where we have additional embellishments on the other walls as well. We don't get a ton for this Daily Profit room. We see this crate full of papers, another "Have you seen this wizard?" And there is a cool sticker piece here with just lots of different cutouts from various Daily Profits. But then going up, we just see this spider web. And I'm guessing this kind of attic crawl space feature is supposed to be for the Daily Profit. Of course, we see more of those printed tiles, some boxes, and then, a rat and some cheese. We do see a cool use of kind of this door piece here to get out of the crawl space onto the roof. However, the best part of this build is, of course, the quality Quidditch supplies. And this is the majority of both the first floor as well as the second floor. For starters, this is the first iteration we got of both the Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff Quidditch school uniforms. So until we got that Cho Chang polybag or the various, Cedric Diggory figures in his outfit, it's really the only way to get both Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. I'm happy it's easier now, but I still am expecting or hoping some of a battle pack in the future where we can get all of the uniforms for all of the houses so we could easily build our Quidditch teams. Or, perhaps the 2025 large collector's edition set will be a Quidditch pitch and they'll all be included there. Of course, we have a small build to house all of the different elements and items that are used in the Quidditch game. We do see a QQS sticker piece there for the doormat. And then over here, of course, I think that might be the Nimbus 2001. And we can also see some various boxes underneath this build as well. Looking here on the second floor, we have this unfortunately crooked sticker. Feel free to test fly any of our brooms. And we see some additional brooms, as well as a chest filled with additional Quidditch supplies. And again, some additional boxes here on the right. I do wish we had seen more Quidditch robes included in this build. I recognize, given that these are essentially minifigure torsos, why there are not. However, I just feel like we definitely should have had both Gryffindor and Slytherin, even though those were much easier to get at the time. And I also like how the designers included different brick elements on the fronts of the brooms, just to create different variations or versions of the brooms, different status symbols for what broom might have been more expensive or more useful in a Quidditch match. Although, as we know, some wizards rely on raw talent and not the status of their broom for their success in a Quidditch game. Now, we're just going to take a very quick look at the 2003 LEGO Harry Potter Quality Quidditch Supply Store. It's obviously a much smaller build, very similar to the kind of builds we see with 2003 LEGO Harry Potter. We see kind of these movable stands for the flags, as well as these cape pieces that were used. I would have liked to see something similar to these cape pieces in the 2020 remake, only because those go along with the uniforms for the Quidditch players. And then I like the use of both the flag and the broom. I wish we had additional flag pieces for both Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. Looking at the exterior of the build, there's a lot of similarities here. Of course, we can see the use of that glass piece with a tiled pattern there in the front. And the color scheme is very similar. We see more of a brown nougat opposed to that kind of red scarlet burgundy color that we see in the 2020 version. But they use the same color there for the roof piece for this small one. And I do like how this is a printed, not a sticker piece there for the brooms, which is always nice. Of Of course, the interior for these sets is always pretty basic, but I do like how we see some of the Quidditch balls there up at the top. We see an additional broom in a different color. Again, kind of the attempt for the early designers to kind of show different types of brooms. And then we see some additional printed pieces here. There's a nice little package, the cash register, and then as well as that Quidditch book there in the back. And then in this kind of display case is the Golden Snitch. Obviously, this is significantly improved upon with the 2020 version, but I do like that as early as 2003, Lego Harry Potter was at least considering and thinking about Diagon Alley and representing it in Lego form. Next up, we have Flourish and Blotts Bookstore, as well as Florian Fortescue's Ice Cream Parlor. This was one of the sets that, of the 4 buildings, I was a little least familiar with, especially the ice cream parlor here. However, it made sense, of course, to include the bookshop, especially if we're going to focus on some Chamber of Secrets scenes. Now, the color scheme for Florian's Ice Cream Parlor, it's kind of this pale yellow. I don't have a ton of this in my collection, so it is unique. However, it does kind of get lost a little bit with some of the other Diagon Alley colors, as we see the bookstore kind of follows a similar green pattern that we saw with the Quality Quidditch Supply Store. I do quite like the little chairs and tables here on the top of the roof for Florian's, and it does also have 2 chairs as well as a little table there up front. Of course, we can see more of the build was dedicated towards the bookshop. We see the Flourish and Blotts sign there, and there's also some additional signs, if you can see, bookbinders, bookseller, reading room there. And I do like the use of these kind of 2 book shacks holding these books out front. And of course, you can see through the window here selling Gilderoy Lockhart's Magical Me. In this part of the set does include a nice little table build here with a bunch of Gilderoy Lockhart's Magical Me for him to sign for individuals who would like his autograph. And I do want to point out that I really like the creative use of some of the pieces here to kind of create this gargoyle-esque looking thing. Using the black flipper I thought was quite unique. And similar to some of the other builds, I like how the windows kind of come out to create some dimension and depth here with the Diagon Alley building. First, we will look at the inside of Florian Fortescue's Ice Cream Parlor. I like how they use kind of the grid pattern with the white and the black there for the floor. Really makes me think of kind of old school ice cream parlors. I also like the use of this sticker piece to show some of the different flavorings. And I also like the way that yellow piece kind of comes out, creating some angles here as well for the interior of the ice cream parlor. And then of course, there's just a shelf with areas to put additional cups, ice cream flavors, and other types of treats being sold here. And then upstairs of Florian, you just have probably a little part of his apartment, just a nice oversized seating chair, as well as a cup of tea and a kettle, and this kind of cool build for a lamp. The divide with this set is very similar to Ollivanders and Scribbulus, where most of the build is going to go over here for Flourish and Blotts. However, we're going to see a pretty good, decent build from the ice cream parlor. This staircase does not turn to the side as we saw with Ollivanders. However, it can swivel upwards. I don't know why you would choose to do that from a display standpoint because it doesn't give it any less depth for putting like against a shelf. But if you want a character on the first floor here, you can place them with that underneath that staircase. Here you can see a really neat build for the bookshelf. Lots of different spines and angles created with the types of books. And there's also these books kind of in the window, kind of stacked all different types of ways. And I do like the signs here for different types of books and where you can go to find them within the store. Now looking up here at the second floor of the bookstore, of course, we're going to see another name sign for the store. We're also going to see a book on display there. This is kind of a Quidditch book. Can close that up. There is a nice lantern and then just additional builds here for the bookshelf. I actually quite like this railing piece. I think it does a good job making it feel as if this bookstore is larger than just the build and kind of looking down at the first floor. And the last of the buildings is, of course, the Weasleys Wizard Wheezes. This is quite a nice build. I really enjoyed getting those masonry bricks in that lilac color. And I think the kind of the purple and the orange works out well and really makes us stand out among some of the other Diagon Alley sets. And of course, I want to point out here on the side of the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes build, we also see this little entrance to Nocturn Alley. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten any more expansion to Nocturn Alley, but I know Borgin & Burkes has been requested by many fans of LEGO Harry Potter. Now, as you can see, this set pretty much feels like the end cap, only because while there is a connection point here for the entrance to Nocturn Alley, there's pretty much this walkway, and you really have the Weasleys, Wheezes kind of comes across here, almost like an end cap building. There are many great sticker pieces in Nocturn Alley, and we see lots of different kind of signs and sayings for the Weasleys and some of the different diabolical treats that they sell here at the shop. Of course, we do see this jokester kind of coming through the window. You can see his body is brick built with lots of different pieces. This will be a little bit different than what we see for the newer playscale version, so we'll compare those towards the end of this. And I know there's a bit of a glare, but you can kind of make out the print there for his shirt in the window here at the end. And I did want to point out that here on the side of the building, we do see some additional sticker pieces. Again, I thought that was just a really good addition. Even though most of these walls are going to be, connected to another building, it is nice to see some detailing here in case you display them separately. Of all the shops, I really feel like the Weasleys Wheezes has some of the coolest detailing with just some of the different accessories, prints, and stickers they have included. Essentially, there'll be lots of different colorful boxes, many with names of different things. And here on the first floor, we can see a nice cash register, as well as some boxes displayed there on the back, as well as this kind of centralized display case. A lot of cool stickers with the Weasley little emblem. A lot of cool, colorful pieces there. We see lots of purples and pinks. Also, those sparkle pieces are used, and some oranges and reds too. Looking here at the staircase, we can see the arrow, and if we read it from top to bottom, more magical mayhem, up, up. So I really like that as well, kind of something you'd see in a real store when there's additional staircases. And as we start looking at some of these higher up floors, I do want to point out I really like the use of those different colors for the railing there. The orange, green, and kind of magenta color really makes this bright and stand out. Here on the second floor, we can see some colorful lollipops, and then we also see Fred Weasley's basic Blaze box. So lots of different sticker pieces there for that display piece. And then, of course, here we see additional colorful pieces like that blue translucent piece, as well as the gold cup, and then another print piece there at the top. And then here in the attic portion, I did remove the roof just to allow more light in, but of course we can see kind of the Weasley and the wizard print there, the orange and purple boxes, and there's just some additional bright colors to represent different things. Now, at this point, when this set was made, a lot of the pieces that we know now for the Weasleys didn't exist. So like the earpiece, just as well as some of the other printed pieces for like the every flavor bean hadn't yet come out for Lego. So we'll see that in the newer version, but we don't see that here with this 2020 Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. Now, looking at the playscale version, I think the designers did a really nice job capturing all the elements that made that first one great, but in a smaller scale that we see in the new playscale release. The colors are very similar, as well as the shapes they create here at the end, and I think they did a great job using a sticker piece instead of a brick-built piece there for the guy's head in the window. Similarly to the other joke shop, we see tons of print pieces. Of course, both for this guy, including his shirt, as well as some of the different kind of sayings there and different products around the Weasleys Wizard Wheezes. I also like that this set included the signs for some of the additional shops that we see or have yet to see here in Diagon Alley. I also quite enjoy the vomiting girl that they've included here with the playscale version. This is one of the funniest parts at the Wizarding World in Orlando, probably in other places too. So it was cool to see this made in Lego form. And looking at the interior of the Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, I actually think they did a better job with this newer set. A lot of that has to do with some of the new pieces and stickers that they've included that I think really make this stand out for all the different products that they have. And it's a lot easier to view them with this open back with no roof as well. I'm just going to kind of scan around there. You can see the ear so that you can see some of the different products and some of those sticker pieces labeling these boxes. You can see some love potions there at the window. But it was just really neat how they've included some of the pieces that have just appeared with Lego Harry Potter over the years. And some of these stickers tend to really bring these out. And of course, the Umbridge face there is priceless. Now, with these playscale sets, we've actually also gotten Madame Malkin's as well as the Owl Post, and these are two sets that we did not get with the 2020 version of Diagon Alley. And so I like that they are adding additional buildings that we have not seen. Madame Malkin's came with Ollivanders, and the Owl Post over here, it came with the Weasleys Wizard Wheezes. Both of these sets have a nice exterior with cool stickered pieces to show you the kind of components of the shops. And the interior build for each definitely kind of fits. As you can see, the owl post is much smaller, and that's because a majority of the bricks went to the joke shop, while Madame Malkin's and Ollivanders were very similar, kind of in the piece count for the two halves of that set. And here we can see there's a nice sticker piece on the side of Madame Malkin's robe shop. And while these two shops are on a much smaller scale, I actually display these with the 2020 Diagon Alley. I don't display these with the Playscale version. I put the Playscale Ollivanders and Joke Shop in my Hogsmeade because it's a similar sizing, even though obviously it's not quite right. And how I display these two sets in my Diagon Alley is actually next to Gringotts Bank. Because Gringotts is kind of at the center here, you can see the build creates kind of these walkways on each side of it. And on the left, you have the magical menagerie. And so it kind of is in a similar scale as Madame Malkin. So it doesn't seem totally off size to have those next to each other. And then the owl post kind of transitions then because you can see there's a walkway here into the next Diagon Alley shop. So that is where I display these in my Diagon Alley on my shelf. And while Gringotts Bank is not officially part of the 2020 Lego Harry Potter Diagon Alley set, this is an expansion that I think many people display next to their Diagon Alley set, so I do want to look at it as it seems to be in a similar scale. One thing you'll notice is this is double as wide. So the Diagon Alley sets from 2020 were kind of a half base plate. Here we can see this is a full base plate, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are building this at an angle. So the building itself isn't that much larger in terms of the dimension. However, this creates additional walkway space, as well as the wall over here and the magical menagerie. And here we can see the inside of the Gringotts Bank. There's not a ton here, just a couple different tills, and of course the main till there for Harry Potter to come to. A lot of cool cracks and detailing with the gold as well as the chandelier. And then up here in the rafters, we're gonna see some additional gold pieces and just various embellishments. One of my favorite parts of this set is going to be the ceiling. There's broken glass where the dragon is going to fly out. But for now, we're just going to have this an intact building with no dragon. The back wall to the magical menagerie does open up, but as you can see, it's a very small build with just a few items and a cash register, and we see that up here with the second floor as well. And of course, the Gringotts Bank also came with this great underground build of the vaults, real working vaults from different various scenes from Harry Potter. I display this on the shelf underneath where all my Diagon Alley sets sit. And here you can see I display my Diagon Alley kind of in the mid-level of this corner shelf that I have. I do put Gringotts obviously there at the angle because of the way it sits. And I put Madame Malkin's to the left as well as the owl post to the right. And then the next smallest builds are Florian's ice cream shop, as well as Scribbulus. And so I placed those next because it makes Madame Malkin's not stand out quite as much. Obviously, it's smaller, but between those two, it doesn't seem totally out of place. And the owl post in terms of height doesn't seem too strange. And I do put it at an angle there where the door is kind of facing outwards. And then I just kind of have my characters. I do use the Dungeons & Dragons CMF base plates for all my characters, or as many as I can, that are not actually kind of on the Diagon Alley street. However, at some point, I would want to extend kind of a proper street build, making kind of a cobblestone street. And then it ends over here with Nocturn Alley from the early 2000s. Obviously, you can see a mix there of the kind of yellow torso or yellow face and then flesh tone or skin tone characters, but this works really well for me. I do have room to expand if they give us a proper leaky cauldron, for instance. I could still fit that in and move some of these buildings around. But like I said earlier, I do display the vaults to Diagon Alley, to Gringotts underneath of my Diagon Alley display. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to stay updated with LEGO leaks, rumors, news, and reviews, hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite build is from the LEGO Diagon Alley set and what sets you hope they expand and continue making for the Playscale versions. I will see you all next time.